When you think about L. Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, chances are your mind goes straight to the 1939 movie. Judy Garland, the songs, the Yellow Brick
Oh,
Road.
absolutely. It's a cinematic masterpiece, no doubt,
Yeah.
but it's also an adaptation that, well, it really changed what Baum was trying to say back in 1900.
Hugely. The film took Baum's story, which was actually quite practical, very American in its way, and sort of repackaged it.
Yeah, leaning into allegory, dream sequences, stuff that just wasn't in the original book.
So today we're doing a deep dive to give you the fast track to understanding the original novel. We want to strip away that movie overlay.
Exactly. We'll unpack its Americanness, the really profound irony about self-worth and how Baum deliberately broke from older European fairy tales.
And we have to start with the absolute biggest difference, the one fact you need to reset your whole mental image.
Right. Dorothy didn't wear ruby slippers.
Nope. They were silver shoes.
Silver. The change to ruby was purely practical for the movie.
Yeah, 1939, glorious Technicolor. They needed that contrast. Red just popped more against the yellow brick road than silver would have. Simple as that.
But it's a change that immediately shifts the feeling, doesn't it? Silver shoes feel almost talismanic, like they hold a different kind of power. Ruby slippers suggest more spectacle, maybe.
Good point. It signals right away that Baum's world is maybe more about ingenuity than just pure, flashy magic.
Which brings us nicely to Dorothy's starting point. Not exactly glamorous Kansas.
Kansas. It's not just plain, it's relentlessly bleak in the book.
Baum uses it brilliantly as a contrast to Oz. The analysis we looked at points out the word gray appears, what, 10 times in just the first few paragraphs?
10 times, it's staggering, and it's not just the landscape.
No, it's everything. The house is gray, sun-blistered. Aunt Em is thin and gaunt. Her eyes have lost their sparkle, turned gray. Uncle Henry, gray from beard to boots, never laughs.
It paints this picture of, like, emotional exhaustion, post-frontier hardship.
Exactly. Total antithesis of a typical fairy tale beginning, which makes the landing in Oz even more dramatic.
Right. Suddenly, she's in this land of marvelous beauty, green grass, sparkling rivers. The contrast is immediate.
And that contrast feeds directly into Baum's big goal, creating a modernized fairy tale.
He wanted something different from the European tradition, right? Didn't he find Alice in Wonderland a bit much?
He did. He admired Carol but called Alice rambling and incoherent. Baum wasn't interested in that kind of internal psychological journey.
So Oz is like the anti-Wonderland. Alice's trip is described as psychic torment, all internal irony.
Whereas Oz is external. It's optimistic, accessible. Things happen to Dorothy, and she reacts. The commentary calls her the first truly American child protagonist.
Defined by common sense and action, not deep thought. She just wants to get home.
And that pragmatism shapes Oz itself. It's not some ancient kingdom. It's almost like a magical democracy, surprisingly structured.
With those 4 witches governing the cardinal points. North, south, east, west.
Right. But Baum flips the script. North and south are good, east and west are wicked.
And that includes introducing a good witch, the Witch of the North. That was pretty radical for the time, wasn't it? Traditionally, witches were just bad.
Absolutely. It introduces moral complexity right away. And Dorothy, this sensible kid from Kansas, disrupts everything just by landing her house on one of the wicked ones.
Accidental regicide. So the story starts with this sort of practical advantage, not a magical quest.
Exactly. Resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Which sets up the core irony of the whole book, really.
The running joke, yeah, that her companions are all searching for things they already have.
It's such a lovely, simple theme of self-acceptance. Take the Scarecrow. He wants brains. He tells Dorothy he was only made day before yesterday, so he assumes he's clueless.
But he's immediately the strategist. When they face a problem, he's the one using logic.
Totally. Figuring out the order to jump the chasm, that was him. Telling the Tin Woodman to chop down the tree to escape the Kelidas, also him. He's constantly the sharpest thinker.
And the wizard's fix is just a gag, basically.
Right. Baum gives him brand new brains. Literally, bran, pins, and needles. It's a pun. It just confirms the brains were there all along.
Okay, so Scarecrow's about logic. What about the Tin Woodman? He wants a heart.
Yeah, his backstory is pretty grim. Originally a Munchkin man, but the Wicked Witch of the East enchanted his axe,
forcing him to replace body parts with tin until he was all metal. Theoretically heartless.
But the irony is, he's incredibly sensitive. He argues that happiness is the best thing in the world, not brains, and then he weeps over accidentally stepping on a beetle.
To the point where his jaw rusts shut. It's almost like he overcompensates because he thinks he lacks feeling.
Precisely. The text says he takes great care never to be cruel or unkind. He proves his compassion constantly because he's so worried about not having a heart. It's a brilliant paradox.
And the cowardly lion, seeking courage.
Who openly admits his cowardice, which, takes some guts in itself.
Right, and he performs brave acts all the time, saving them from the Calders, fighting that giant spider.
And the wizard sums it up later. True courage is in facing danger when you are afraid. The lion was never fearless. He just didn't realize he was already brave.
So this pattern, the characters being unaware of their own strengths while we, the readers, see it, Baum called that childproof character irony.
Yeah, he used a very direct, almost flat FX style. He focused on plot, events, action, not deep psychological dives like Anderson or Carroll might do.
It makes it feel less like therapy and more like, well, an adventure, a road trip.
A road trip to self-discovery.
Yeah.
Which leads them eventually to the Emerald City and the wizard himself.
Ah, the great and terrible Oz. And this is where that American ingenuity theme really kicks into high gear.
Because he's a total fraud.
Right. Not some ancient wizard, but just a common man. A retired ventriloquist and balloonist from Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Crash landed years ago and basically bluffed his way into power using stagecraft.
Pure showmanship. The great head was paper and ventriloquism. The lady a mask. The beast sewn skins.
The ball of fire just oiled cotton. It's all tricks. Spectacular, but just tricks. No actual magic from him.
And the Emerald City itself? Another illusion.
Completely. It wasn't any greener than anywhere else. He made everyone wear green-tinted spectacles locked onto their heads.
That is brilliant humbuggery. The chapter title says it all. The magic art of the great humbug.
His power wasn't magic, it was perception management. He admits he's just a pretty good American salesman.
And that mix of a magical land with very practical, almost technological solutions is key, isn't it?
Absolutely. The wizard arrives and tries to leave in a hot air balloon, a symbol of American tech contrasting with the witch's innate magic.
And think about the Tin Woodman being repaired by tinsmiths, getting a gold axe handle from a goldsmith. It's about craft, industry.
Skilled labor. It celebrates the maker, the salesman, the inventor. In Baum's Oz, success often comes from human effort and benign chicanery.
It does make you wonder, if the most powerful guy in Oz is just a really clever salesman, what's Baum saying about where power really lies?
Maybe that in this new kind of fairy tale, ingenuity and, yes, salesmanship can beat old world magic or inherited status.
Okay, we absolutely have to talk about the 1939 movie now because it made some huge changes that really shifted Baum's original ideas. You need to know what was book and what was film.
Right. The biggest one, I think, is the whole framework. In the book, Oz is 100% a real place. You can travel there.
It is not a dream, not Dorothy bumping her head.
No concussion-induced fantasy. And crucially, the Scarecrow, Tin Woodman, and Lion do not have Kansas counterparts.
Yeah.
There's no Hunk, Hickory, or Zeke on the farm.
That was purely a movie invention, making it all psychological. Baum's Oz was tangible.
Which makes Dorothy's journey feel very different, another change. How the Wicked Witch of the West dies.
The movie makes it seem like an accident, right? She throws water to save the Scarecrow.
But in the book, it's deliberate. Dorothy gets very angry because the witch tricks her and steals one of the silver shoes.
But she acts out of anger.
Yes. She picked up the bucket of water and dashed it over the witch. Baum's Dorothy has more fight in her than the movie version sometimes suggests.
Interesting. And what about escaping the deadly poppy field? The movie has that magical snowstorm.
Convenient, right. But Baum's solution is pure ingenuity again. The lion is too heavy to carry out of the field once he falls asleep. So the Scarecrow has an idea. They get help from the queen of the field mice and her thousands of subjects. And the Tin Woodman builds a little truck.
A truck? Seriously?
Yeah, made of tree limbs. And the mice pull the truck with the lion on it out of the poppy field. It's teamwork and engineering.
That is so much more in keeping with the book's themes than just magic snow.
Totally. And even getting to Glinda, the Good Witch of the South, isn't straightforward. They have to use the golden cap.
Which controls the wing monkeys.
Right. They use the monkey's power. Dorothy gets 3 commands to fly them over obstacles like the aggressive hammerheads, who they couldn't fight.
Okay, so they finally get to Glinda, and she tells Dorothy.
She reveals the secret Dorothy. And the reader never knew. The silver shoes held the power all along.
She could have gone home any time?
Any time. Just click the heels together 3 times and command them. That's it.
Wow. And the shoes themselves. What happens to them?
Well, they carry her back across the desert to Kansas, but they fall off during the flight. Lost forever.
So she doesn't bring back a souvenir. She brings back the knowledge.
Exactly. The external symbol of power is gone, but the internal realization that she had the power and resourcefulness all along remains.
So pulling it all together, Baum's book is really about this external journey, a road trip, to realize internal self-worth.
Definitely. Set in this very American landscape that values common sense, ingenuity, teamwork, and even, well, good humbug.
And that brings us back to the wizard, the great humbug himself, who ran Oz through showmanship and salesmanship.
It makes you think, doesn't it? In this magical democracy Baum created, the ultimate power wasn't magic or birthright. It was the ability to sell an idea, to make people believe.
The greatest wizard was the greatest salesman. What does that suggest about our own world, maybe? What kinds of humbugs, what kinds of salesmanship are shaping our reality right now?
Something to definitely mull over. The real silver lining, perhaps, of this American classic.